Good morning, dear ones. Welcome.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Susie and Puppy. Hi, Jim. Hi, Dell. Susan and John and Judy. Hi. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Marcia.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dell.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bert. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are so glad you're here.
We're glad to be here with newly vaccinated arms.
Wow. And you can go ahead and put those kind of joys in the chat if you'd like to do that too.
You want to?
You are welcome to do that. Just type that right in there.
Bert says no.
Bert says no. Too much. Too many typing things.
Yes, yes.
Too much typing.
How do you know?
Oh boy. Boy, everybody, I remember the days when we used to have to press really hard on those keys to make the letters come out. It was a good workout for biceps. That was back in the day.
I remember that.
Welcome, welcome.
There's Marcia.
Now people use typewriters as decor. We are so glad you are here today. I can hear someone typing.
I can't read it unless I get close.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Who is that?
There's Piper. Everybody is with us this morning. Almost.
We are so glad.
Cooper? I have to get you by here. It's not going to be pretty here.
I can hear that somebody has more than one microphone going. Lots of feedback, so you're certainly welcome to unmute yourself if you've got something to share into the circle.
Hey, Don and Jen.
Hey, Judith.
Hey, Susan and John.
Hi, Judy.
Hey, Kathy Berry.
So good to hear the voices and the laughter.
Is that Aline?
Yeah, John slamming down the shades.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. I'm not showing my picture. I got a bad migraine. But I'm here. I'm here, and I want to be here.
Good morning.
Good morning. We will be continuing to gather for the next 5 minutes or so. If you want to get your coffee or your donut or your tofu scramble, maybe that's, need to give the healthy alternatives, right?
You guys, I'm so glad you're
Here.
Yeah.
Or your puppy?
Just hearing everyone makes me feel better.
Hi, Barry.
Glad
Good
I'm here.
morning.
Hi, Barry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Marcia, where's your dog?
My dog is right here. Come here, dog.
I can't see her.
I see in the chat about
There she is.
for snow.
Hiya. Hello.
Oh, wow, it's a big dog, Marcia.
Sucked in? Oh, yeah. It's in our background today. I like it.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Barry. Morning, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thanks, family. John and Jonathan.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Jim and Donna.
Morning.
Hi, Sarah.
Husband,
Hi,
Larissa.
Oh, Susan.
Hi, Sarah Kelly. I don't know you.
Hi, Judith.
Oh.
Hi, Robert and Susie,
Gerald.
Marcia, Lisa, Aline.
Hi, Judy Hook.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Marcia.
Morning, Nancy.
Hi, Donna.
Delmar.
I'm making soup.
Yeah. Grace. From Atlanta. Oh my God. Teresa.
Parsnips. Parsnips. Carrots.
Hi, Grace Wilms.
Kelly and audio.
Should be less echoing now.
Susan and John.
What a great picture.
Hi, Marta.
Marta.
Hello.
You also might want to take a look in the chat as people put joys in there. Just a few things.
Busy looking at pictures.
Krista.
You can hardly see it snowing outside except for one little piece of brown stone sticking through. And then you see the snow against the brown stone.
What's the forecast for today?
No.
No.
And it's raining down here.
Oh,
Really?
Where?
At least
Rains in Phoenix.
Well, that's
Yes.
great.
It's
I would
snowing.
love to do this, though. I would love.
It must be in Arizona.
I hope Robert got it.
okay, I'm almost ready to mute everybody. Give a little wave.
Oh.
Hi.
All right, as we get ready to begin.
Susan
Yes,
and John.
snow definitely changes the mood, doesn't it? It makes it so nice.
Very much so.
Okay. The words calling us into worship this morning are printed in our hymnal, and they come from the Reverend Mark Morrison Reed. The central task of the religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each to all.
There is a connectedness, a relationship discovered amid the particulars of our own lives and the lives of others. Once felt, it inspires us to act for justice.
It is the church that assures us that we are not struggling for justice on our own, but as members of a larger community.
The religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done.
Together, our vision widens and our strength is renewed. We acknowledge that the land we gather on as a congregation, where we live, work, and play, was not freely given to us. We are gathered on the ancestral land of the Nuchu, Apache, Pueblos, Hopi, Zuni, and Diné nations. We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land. As these words are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their ancestral homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. We acknowledge that our use of and benefit from this land came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land we now inhabit. I am Katie Kandarian Morris, minister of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Durango. I'm so grateful to be creating community with you today, a congregation of beautiful, caring, justice-striving people. We gather virtually in order to keep each other safe. It is a balm being together as we respond to the world's brokenness with our liberal religious values of hope and love. Unitarian Universalists have radical roots and a history as self-motivated spiritual people. We think for ourselves and recognize that life experience influences our beliefs more than anything. We gather in the spirit of covenant. If you are new here, we welcome you. Please send a message to the chat, and our communications coordinator, Shannon Beaver, will reach out to you to greet you personally. Can you hear the snowplow that's right outside my window? He's almost gone by. We would love to add you to our e-newsletter list. Please join us after the service for our informal small group virtual fellowship time. Leading our service with me today is our worship team. Tim Miller is our worship associate. Sarah Sauter, our interim director of faith formation, is our storyteller. Shannon Beaver and Cheryl Guy are greeters. James Mirabal leads our tech support, and we have assistance from Dennis McClure. Our musician today is Lawrence Nass, and Elizabeth Crawford will lead our hymn singing today. We define worship as shaping things of worth. In doing so, we create community, providing opportunities for transformation.
As Mariana Valdez and family members prepare to light our chalice this morning, we encourage others in our congregation to sign up to do so. Nice job. In future services by putting your name in the chat, maybe with chalice lighter and your name, and we'll be in touch. Also in chat, Shannon is posting words to our affirmation to allow everyone to acknowledge the peace of these sacred words. Please keep yourselves muted and join me as we say the words to our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need. For these high purposes do we unite in worship.
And I invite you to make sure your screen is set to gallery view. You can do that by going up to the right-hand corner of your screen where it says view, and make that change so it says gallery so that you can see those who are present today. And now, keeping an attitude of reverence and hospitality, you're welcome to open your mic and let us offer each other a gentle greeting of peace and welcome to those who make up our congregation today. Be with
Hey,
you.
everybody.
Welcome, Wilder.
Good morning, Janice and Brooks.
Hi, Cheryl and
Judy.
Hi, Marta.
Hi, Bob.
Very old. Bob. Sarah.
Okay, I think you got everybody. All right, we share our joys and sorrows in a ritual of candlelighting in community. This is a good time now to switch your screen back to speaker view so that you can see specifically who is asking for a candle to be lit. If you are so moved, I invite you to offer a joy or sorrow of a personal nature. And I'll ask you, please, no issues of a political kind until the breakout rooms after the service. I will go ahead and light a candle for you. Type your name in the chat so we can identify you. And also, please, just a phrase or two, being mindful of others. I will go ahead today and begin lighting the first candle here. Let me light it and then share with you. This is a candle of joy, if I can get it lit. I know it wants to be lit, but I'm going to try another candle because all right. This one is for all of us who are buoyed by the many events of Wednesday's inauguration and by the historic first woman and woman of color vice president. I hope you'll stay after the service to share your favorite events. May we light this candle. Oh, and I want to light a second candle today. And this one is in sorrow and remembrance for the more than 417,000 beloveds in this nation who have died from COVID. May we do our part to slow the spread. May we light this candle. Okay, Tim.
Yes, okay, we've got a few in the chat. Be sure if you have another one, join in. Bonnie, you're up first.
I'd like to light a candle of concern for Julia Brill. She's at home recovering from surgery, but it's a bumpy road, and she really appreciates all the caring thoughts and prayers that have been sent for her to her.
And so today I'm having a hard time getting the candles. There we go. We light this candle.
Next up, we have Grace.
Hello. I have a very big candle of joy. I arrived here in Decatur and got my COVID test negative. And as much as I wish I was there where it's snowing, I am enjoying a wonderful, lovely 60-degree day, and it's sunny, and it's just wonderful to be back on campus again after almost 10 months away. Yes. So
we light this candle.
Nancy F.
Yes, I have reservations on a Grand Canyon River trip in August for myself, my son, and my 14-year-old grandson. So 3 generations, and I'm a little intimidated about it all, but it should be fabulous.
We light this candle.
I think it will be fabulous. Diana S.
Hi, I have a joy that my son is recovering beautifully from COVID. And I have a sorrow that a dear friend with whom I used to swear in has passed away, not from COVID. And I ask that thoughts and prayers be with his partner who stayed behind. Thank you.
We light this candle.
Owen S. has a joy.
I have a joy that it's snowing, and that's it.
We light this candle.
I second that, Owen. Mario, you're next.
I have a sorrow, a good friend of mine and a person who used to come to our fellowship periodically for community, Branson Reynolds, has passed away. He was a noted photographer in the area, did photography tours, and was a real tall, kind of striking man, would stand right outside the door of Bowman because he liked to be outdoors more than inside. Anyway, he was having a surgery for a heart stent to get more oxygen to his brain, and he didn't make it through the surgery. So
we light this candle.
Sarah and Benji are next.
I have a joy that for our community, that we have wonderful, caring, and giving people, and especially by name, I'll say Karen Zink, who organized the community COVID vaccination team which is the first of its kind for a community to come together. And we vaccinated 300 folks yesterday, and it's going to go on every Saturday. We're hoping to get to 1,000. But I can't tell you how much my heart was filled with joy seeing those seniors coming in yesterday, and they were so full of gratitude. So it was a huge effort, full of love and hope and joy for our community. And I'm so thankful for everyone who put that together.
We light this candle.
All right, I'm not seeing any others. Any others? Last chance. All right, I think that's it, Reverend Katie.
Let us acknowledge a final candle lit today to symbolize all of those whose prayers and thoughts and concerns are left unspoken. And we will remember all of those who spoke aloud this morning, keeping these good thoughts in our hearts. And now, as we ready to continue in a spirit of prayer, words from the Reverend Teresa Soto that will then lead us into prayer. She says, "Can we develop the skill of remembering the future? Can we commit to build the community that will extend into a time that we only know by memory because it will outlast us? Memorize the compass points of the day yet to come, the truth, the love, the fire, the endless yes of the horizon. Shake the scales from your imagination. Reach, stretch, rise." Now, won't you join me in an attitude of care? Spirit of life, Spirit of love, of hope for this day and those yet to come, may we build the community that extends beyond us. Starting with this community of liberal religious people and the larger democracy that is our city, county, our surrounding mountains, rivers, and valleys, those places across the country where our friends and family reside. May we grow in trust to awaken imagination so that our future might be glorious and divine. May we reach, feel stretched, and may we rise. Let us hold silence for a moment after hearing the sound of the bowl. Blessed be. Amen. Amen. Ashe.
Good morning, everybody. I'm doing this song today called "We Shall Be Free" by Garth Brooks and one other co-writer. And wanted to tell you a little about it. This song is 28 years old, and more recently, it was included in President Obama's inauguration song list. And Garth Brooks has performed it for him. In fact, he has performed for every president since Jimmy Carter. And in the video of this song, Garth Brooks wrote, "This is dedicated to the human spirit, unbreakable, relentless, free." This ain't coming from no prophet, just an ordinary man When I close my eyes, I see the way this world shall be when we all walk hand in hand. When the last child cries for a crust of bread, when the last man dies for just words that he said, when there's shelter over the poorest head, then we shall be free. When the last thing we notice is the color of skin, and the first thing we look for is the beauty within. When the skies and the oceans are clean again, well then we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight and walk proud, 'cause we shall be free. When we're free to love anyone we choose, when this world's big enough for all different views, when we all can worship from our own kind of pew, then we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Have a little faith, hold out, 'cause we shall be free. And when money talks for the very last time and nobody walks a step behind, only one race and that's mankind, then we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, have a little faith, 'cause we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud, 'cause we shall be free. 'Cause we shall be free.
Thank you, Lawrence and Garth Brooks. That was wonderful. Since the fall, our kids have explored anti-racism. Let us now all hear again the words of Amanda Gorman, the voice of Black female youth reflecting on our past and imagining an anti-racist future.
When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny Black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, that even as we tired, we tried, that we'll forever be tied together, victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the West. We will rise from the wind-swept Northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked South. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Thank you, Amanda Gorman. Rise, reconcile, and recover. May it be so. Children, please click on the link in the chat box, and we'll see you in faith formation.
We had simply hoped for the usual, the traditional, a peaceful transition of power. There was a transition of power, but not so peaceful. Horrific, in fact. It began with a coup. Finally, 2 weeks later, the changeover to seat the individuals who had fairly won the election and had been certified by each congressional chamber felt like, well, what they call the best thing ever, I guess. On the day following the inauguration, I was still imagining and floating. The New York Times book critic, Dwight Garner, unpacked some of that shared sensation. About our Generation Z inaugural poet, he wrote, "After 4 years during which language was debased, when it meant anything at all, Amanda Gorman offered a fortifying tablespoon of American plain-spokenness. She offered lucidity and euphony. Her hand motions were expressive, as if she were conducting an orchestra of one." He continued, "If her performance made you feel vaguely like that you'd had a blood transfusion, it was perhaps because you could sense the beginning of a remade connection in America between cultural and political life. A sleeping limb was tingling back into action." And of course, now I'm following Amanda Gorman on social media, this brilliant and creative graduate of Harvard University who wore the bright colors of Prada, the color Jill Biden had so appreciated when Jill first saw her in 2017. Gorman also wore the symbolic gifts given her by fangirl Oprah in order to represent and remember her power through the ancestors. In particular, a previous inaugural poet, Maya Angelou. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith, we trust. For while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. The poet offered a nod to Hamilton, to our forebears, to a modern rendition of our nation's founding. When we remember the future, those founders like our second president, John Adams, one of those Unitarian leaders I love to lift up, he wrote to his beloved wife, Abigail, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." Adams used religion in the context of a faith that requires a larger view. Our faith connects with democracy and morality. It reminds us that we are made for our Constitution as a moral and religious people. When we disagree in love, journeying together. We may use this grounding, this strength of whom it is we are to build a new way. The new president is charged with bringing us back from the brink. Joe Biden called for unity. He told us to make friends of our enemies. And I think he's not just talking to the liberals, but reminding all. Although he may not have said it that day, I believe our new president is demanding structures of accountability, part of democracy prevailing. For now, the era of tumult is over. There is still chaos, but what we're seeing is the chaos of the end of an era. We're putting something together that's more than ever before. The backlash that we've been seeing is a reaction to those powerful, positive changes. America can become great, maybe without the hubris we've displayed up until now. And while the great exhales of our people might easily power a great sailing ship, the beauty of ceremony at the very site of insurrection may also remind us not to sit back for a great nap. In my trip to visit our Unitarian religious siblings in Hungary and Transylvania, we made our way to church near the Parliament building in Budapest. We came across a memorial almost easy to walk by. Next to the sidewalk in the grand architecture of the walls of the Ministry of Agriculture, we saw dozens of bronze balls attached to the building. Let's see that next photo if we can. We'll go to the next one. Yes. Wait. Where we were there with all those balls, that plaque, they are there as a reminder of the thousands killed during the 1956 Hungarian Revolution. At this location, hundreds of peaceful protesters gathered next to Parliament. Soviet troops opened fire on the people, killing somewhere that day around 20. And now, can you see that next picture with the Marines? Standing at the door, sharply dressed, sharply uniformed Marines held the beautiful historic wooden doors open before the highest swearing-in ceremony in our land, the smashed glass serving as a harsh reminder of the fragility of our great experiment in democracy. And finally, we pick up the pieces of ruin, recreating and building a new way, just like Representative Andy Kim, who in his dress suit got down on his hands and knees to clean the debris off the floor of the Capitol Rotunda, a place filled with meaning, a place Representative Kim loves so much. In the heart of the Capitol, Kim's labor is that of healing, reminding us of our own embodiment and the cultural connection of what we've built, as well as the shared personal meaning. Words about democracy attributed to Alexis de Tocqueville tell us, America will be great if America is good. If not, her greatness will vanish away like a morning cloud. And funny then that this thought was more likely uttered by two traveling British ministers who, while visiting churches in the United States, said that America will be great if it is good. So we've got to generate the good while holding accountable those who would do violent damage to what we value. These days, we wonder, how do we ensure the good? Justice and accountability is our work to do, work for democracy. Here too, in our own faith, it is the mission to which we have committed. Organizations like Braver Angels deals with political polarization. SURGE, the acronym that you unpack as showing up for racial justice, recently constituted locally, or Indivisible, working to create change in our democracy. We know that the legacy with which we are left following our last presidency is a disdain for truth, a belief in fantasy and conspiracy. I don't know exactly how we get it back other than to keep on demonstrating, pointing to it, upholding it, and valuing it. Tyranny is possible when truth has evaporated. We've just seen how nearly 40% of the people can follow fringe movements. Truth will need to be restated and institutions defended. Yale professor Timothy Snyder has written an invaluable little volume, looks only this big, but it's powerful. It's called On Tyranny, where he instructs, do not speak of our institutions unless you make them yours by acting on their behalf. Institutions do not protect themselves. They need our support. So pick what you care about and defend it, whether it is a newspaper, a law, a labor union, this congregation. Take its side. Acknowledge too that not all these institutions have been made available to marginalized populations. To lighten the load, which I'm sure you need to do as well as me, to lighten the load, I've watched comedian Jonathan Klepper interview Trump fans for The Daily Show. He had his mic in hand on January 6th before they marched toward the Capitol building. He queried one man who was clothed in a Trump flag like a cape, and he asked him if he would consent to be governed by President Biden. The response came, I've educated myself, but I don't know all of what's in the Constitution. Klepper then asked him, have you read it? It's pretty short. The flag wearer was incredulous. You've read the whole thing? I'm sure that the most frustrated viewers of that interview would be the civics teachers. In 2016, a study found that only 26% of Americans could name the 3 branches of government. Yet the Constitution is described as the most important document in our nation. Last Wednesday, the sermon we heard from Joseph R. Biden Jr. Oh, wait, was that a speech? Was plain spoken and authentic. It reminded us that characteristics like empathy, confidence, and a plan build trust. The new president went on to remind us of the hope that the Constitution embodies, whether it was the more perfect union echoed in the poetry of The Hill I Climb, hearing Lady Gaga's stirring a new story interpretation of the national anthem, even through Garth Brooks's invitation to join with him in our own acknowledgement of transgressions by singing Amazing Grace. We've got a new way. Like the Israelites, we've received manna for the journey, a gift like snow from the heavens, hope for what is yet to come. Let us fasten ourselves to this democracy, build on truth, growth, and acceptance. May it be worth our trust and efforts. Until we are together again, I love you. Amen. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
Thank you, Katie. This next piece was performed for the inauguration of Joe Biden in the prime time in the evening. So those of you that saw that, you'll remember this song. It's called Better Days by Ant Clemens and Justin Timberlake. just as long as you hold your head, 'cause we're on our way to better. Oh, better's ahead, better's ahead. It gets worse before it gets better. Better's ahead, better's ahead. Better days are coming. Better days are coming. Better days, better days, better and better and better. Better days are coming. Oh, better days. I know you've been kicked out, slept on, let down, faith gone, waited too long for something to lean on. You feel weak, just be strong. A deep breath, stay calm. If you press on, press on, press on, you see there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Keep your eyes on the road ahead. But if you feel it lost in the night, it's okay to cry, just as long as you hold your head. 'Cause we're on our way to better. Better days ahead, better's ahead. It gets worse before it gets better. Better's ahead, better's ahead, you know. Better days are coming. Better, better, better. Better days are coming. Ooh, better days, better days. Better, better days are coming. Better days, better days. I know you feel left out, stepped on. Keep going, keep going. Shine bright, don't dim yours for no one. Keep going higher and higher and higher and higher. Better days, better days, better days.
Thank you, Lawrence. We're all looking forward to better days and better music. I'm thinking about the Kennedy Center honors and White House concerts and things that maybe we haven't had in the last few years. As we begin our offertory this morning, there are 3 ways you can donate, instructions for which Shannon is posting in the chat. The first one is to just mail a check to the church. On our website, you can click on the donate button and follow the prompts. Or the third one is you can donate by text by entering that toll-free number in your text message to field, 833-765-0135, and then the dollar amount in the message field, and hit send. So why do we give? Why do we support this fellowship? Our spiritual home, our spiritual anchor, this beloved community, with our time, our talent, and our treasure. Well, speaking for myself, and I suspect many of you, I've met a meaningful percentage of my close Durango friends here who enrich my life. Did this church sustain us through the past 4 years of uncertainty and turmoil, starting with the gathering we had the day after the 2016 election, when we were able to hug it out and grieve together? Did this church help us to organize and show support for the Women's March, Black Lives Matter, and LGBTQ vigils, for reproductive justice, fair immigration practices, and other events, to stand up for progressive values rooted in tolerance and kindness? Are we grateful for our talented, creative minister, working hard to provide high-quality worship and pastoral care and leadership, finding ways to maintain this level of engagement during the pandemic, while continuing to challenge and inspire us to be touched by the better angels of our nature? We're also grateful to the church staff and volunteers who do so much to keep us connected, to keep the church operations running smoothly and our campus looking good. Are we looking forward to the day when we can physically be together once more? These are some of the many reasons, past, present, and future, why this church is important to us and deserving of our support. Thank you for your generosity.
Anna Poole, Tim Miller, and Carol Greger are going to lead us in singing our closing song, "We Are Building a New Way." The words will be on the screen, so let's sing together.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free, to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need, our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry, is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without peace, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way, a new way. We are building a new way, a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way.
We will extinguish our chalice. Let's see it. Wait for it. 1 second, Mariana. Let's get you spot lit there. Yay. All right. Thank you. And I'll do mine as well. If you have a chalice at your house, you are always welcome to light it during worship or any other time that you need a small boost during your day. Remember your power in the days of your powerlessness. Remember your obligations to the freedoms we seek. Go in peace, aiming to create one more thing of beauty and love. Amen. Blessed be. Well, I'll create breakout rooms for you in just a minute here. Stay if you would like and have fellowship with others.